Alright, so this is chapter 4, section 3. Name of the section is add and subtract like fractions. Like fractions. Need to know what they are before we do anything. They are fractions with the same denominator. If they have the same denominator, we call them like fractions. Example of like fractions: 3/8, 4/8, -2/8. These are all like fractions, and the reason why they're like fractions, even the positive and negative ones, is because they all have the same denominator. So, to add and subtract them, how do we do it? Well, to do this, a couple things. One, use any negative sign with the top numbers. Two, you are going to add or subtract the top numbers. 3, the denominator, you're just going to keep that the same. And step 4, simplify. Sometimes you'll be able to reduce the fraction. Sometimes you end up with an improper fraction. You got to turn it back into a mixed number. It looks like a lot of rules. It's really not bad. We're going to start out with some examples with addition problems, and we'll just increase the complexity as we go along. So, examples. Let's say we had 1/5 plus 2/5. Well, we already know the denominator is going to be 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. Done. Next example. -2/7 plus -3/7. Denominator 7 stays the same. -2 plus -3. Well, 2 negatives and 3 negatives make 5 negatives. So just keep that negative sign, pretend it goes to the top number, just go straight across. Next example. -4/5 plus 2/5. We already know the denominator is going to be 5. I'm adding two integers, different signs. Since the negative's bigger, or I have more negatives, I should say, than positives, I know my answer is going to be negative. Difference between 4 and 2 is 2. Alternatively, in your calculator, denominator is the same, but for this top part, -4 plus 2, well, we type it in, first hit the integer 4, and then make it negative. Your calculator now says -4 plus 2 equals, and we get -2 as the answer. Same thing. Next example. -4/5 plus -4/5. Again, denominator is going to be 5, 4 negatives and 4 negatives. That's going to be a total of 8 negatives. Now, this one right here is an improper fraction. Improper fractions you make into mixed numbers. 5 goes into 8 one time with a remainder of 3. Denominator is 5. Since it was negative here, it's going to be negative here. For those of you that aren't sure how I got to this, it's just long division. Top dog in the house, or top number in the box. Denominator's outside. 5 goes into 8 one time, that's my whole number. And the remainder is 3. Third grade style division with remainders. There's my whole number, remainder is the new numerator. Since this was negative, this thing's negative here. Next, subtraction. Two fifths minus 1/5. 2 minus 1, 1. Let's do one more subtraction example. Negative 3 3/8 minus, let's do negative 7/8. Denominator's 8. Negative 3 minus negative 7. Now if I wanted to do this by hand, I could, and I could do the keep, change, change. Keep, change, change. I end up with negative 3 plus 7. There's more positives than negatives, so the answer is positive, and the difference between 7 and 3 is 4. So I could do this, which would then reduce or simplify to 1/2. Alternatively, in the calculator, 3 negative minus 7 negative equals, and I get positive 4, the same thing. And that is adding and subtracting like fractions.